On October 4th, 2023, Massachusetts Governor Healy signed a bill changing the Massachusetts estate tax law. My team and I have prepared this brief video to give you an overview of those important changes. If you have any questions, you'll see an email address at the end of this video. Please feel free to email us and we'll be happy to respond. Thank you for watching.
Unfortunately, the new filing threshold hasn't been indexed for inflation, and there is still no portability for married couples. And while the threshold has changed, the tax calculation hasn't. You will still apply the 2000 federal estate tax law, the same rate and same calculation as before. But now you will get to apply a $99,600 credit, effectively wiping out the tax that would have been due up to $2 million and resulting in effective tax rates starting at 7.2% and maxing out at 16% like before. But unlike before, when a taxable estate would require that everything over $40,000 is taxed, now only the amount above $2 million will be taxed, making it a true exclusion and allowing planners to be able to truly double the tax savings for a married couple up to $4 million.
A lot of Massachusetts residents want to know, if I become a resident of another state and have property in Massachusetts, will the state of Massachusetts still impose an estate tax on that property? They might. To do that calculation, you first have to determine if the non-resident decedent's estate exceeds $2 million. And if it does, then we figure out a fraction. And the numerator for that fraction is the value of the Massachusetts property over the value of the federal gross estate. So let's say we have a Florida resident who passes away with $4 million in their estate, and $3 million of that is Massachusetts property. In that case, our fraction is going to be 3/4. $3 million in Massachusetts property over $4 million in the federal gross estate. So then we take that number and we figure out what the state tax credit would be on the federal return for the value in the federal gross estate, and we apply that fraction, in this case again 3/4, and that gives us our Massachusetts tax calculation. The short and not so sweet of it is that if you're a non-resident and you pass away with property in Massachusetts, Massachusetts may still impose an estate tax on that property, but the amount owed would be reduced by that fraction of the value of the Massachusetts property over the value of the federal gross estate.
When a Massachusetts resident owns real estate outside of Massachusetts, the federal estate tax return should be prepared to include the value of that out-of-state property. And once prepared, you would determine what portion the value of the out-of-state property is of the entire gross taxable estate. So for example, let's say that a Massachusetts resident has an estate valued over $2 million. And let's say that that resident owns property in South Carolina. And let's also say that the value of the South Carolina property is valued at 25% of the entire gross taxable estate. And let's assume that all other assets are in Massachusetts. When the federal estate tax return is prepared, you would include the value of that South Carolina property. Then, on the Massachusetts estate tax return, the tax to be paid should be adjusted to apportion out the value of the South Carolina property. So again, if the value of the South Carolina property is 25% of the total value of the gross taxable estate, then you take 75% of the estate tax calculated to be paid, and that's what you pay to Massachusetts.
We have been told that the M706 estate tax return has not yet been modified to reflect the change in the estate tax threshold. We have also learned that Mass DOR recommends that the same form be used for now, and that the discount of $99,600 should be added as a line item on the old M706 until the new forms are available.
In conclusion, the estate value is calculated using the old federal 706 form from the year 2000, with the benefit of the increase in the estate threshold from $1 million to $2 million. And they got rid of the cliff that taxes the estate back to the original first dollar. Also, line 1 of the Massachusetts 706 form includes the calculation of all the personal and real property. With Massachusetts clients who have property outside of the state, the fraction of the property within the state is equal to the fraction of the tax due. For non-Massachusetts residents with property within the state, the portion of the property within the state is equal to the portion of the tax due.
So I'm proud of my team. They did a great job with this video, putting it together at the last minute. Now don't forget, if you have any questions, below me you'll see an email address. Please feel free to email us and we'll be happy to get back to you. Thank you for watching.